Okay, we just welcome all those in attendance and online for our first council meeting for the year 2026. So I'll now get people to stand for the affirmation. I'll get Councillor Jenny Greenberg to read the affirmation.
We recognise the traditional owners of the land. We are inspired by the early pioneers and by those who gave their lives for our country. We now ask God's blessing on our deliberations and on our commitment to build a better lifestyle and environment.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. This council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to Council's YouTube channel. The recording will also be made available on Council's website. Whilst all care has been taken to ensure that your privacy is maintained, please be aware that your presence may be recorded. So we're going to item 1, apologies and leave of absence. We have an apology from Councillor Jack Blake, and he just wants his community to know that he is unwell and has had to take some time off, so he will be an apology. Do we have any further apologies? No. So item 2, confirmation of minutes for the council meeting held on Monday the 1st of December 2025 and the unscheduled council meeting held on Friday the 12th of December 2025. So we have a recommendation there.
I move that the minutes as listed, copies of which have been circulated, can be confirmed and adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Someone to second that?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Probes. So just a show of hands, those in favour? Okay, that's carried. So do you have any matters arising from the minutes? There are no matters arising for the minutes. Item 4, presentations and awards are nil. Item 5, presentations of petitions and joint letters, also nil. We go to item 6, disclosure of a conflict of interest at a council meeting. Does anyone have any disclosures to declare? There are no conflicts of interest. We now go into item 7, informal meetings of councillors. We have a recommendation there.
I move that the minutes of the informal meetings of the council be accepted.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Do you have someone to second that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Show of hands that we're happy that they are true and correct. Okay, that is carried. So item 9 is considerations of reports of officers, and item 9.1, health, wellbeing and community live it up. 9.1.1, petition pump track stall. We've had a little bit of a officer's report there, and we've had discussions on this, so we have a recommendation there.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that council adds the task investigate, demand, feasibility. Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that council adds the task investigate, demand, feasibility, site assessment and scoping for a pump track in the Shire, or pump tracks in the Shire, to year 4 of the 2025-2029 council plan, a municipal public health and wellbeing plan and work plan.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Do you have someone to second that?
I'm happy to second that, Mayor.
Councillor Hyde. So, Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to address the council on the motion?
Thank you. Yes, I'm very pleased to address the council on this motion. This matter of a pump track to be, or pump tracks to be built in our municipality has been brought to council, installed most recently from a young person who created a petition and received or managed to gather a lot of signatures that to have a pump track built, installed. And prior to that, we had received communications from the Sanana community that they also wanted to have a pump track created in the Sanana area. So I'm very pleased to have this feasibility research conducted in the year 4. I'd very much like to have seen it earlier, but of course this is a bit of a late addition to our planning, and there are a whole range of priorities that need to be addressed prior to this one coming up. But at least it will be further developed in the 4th year of this term council plan. So I'm very happy to move this particular motion.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Hyde, did you wish to address the council on the motion?
I'd just like to add that although this will be investigated if it is indeed passed today, that currently funded by a Vic Health grant, the Shire does have the modular pump track, which will be delivered next month as a project designed to support young people under 14 to access active recreational opportunities. So this particular movable modular pump track will be set up for periods of times in our different towns. I understand the first town will be St Arnaud, and that's very exciting. So in the meantime, we do have this opportunity for our young children to get out and have some fun while we explore the potential of a long-term permanent solution for our Shire.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Does any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Probst?
I just think it's quite exciting to see the young people taking the initiative in this, and just recently the young people pushing for the Sanana pump track have made extra steps to get more funding to get feasibility studies themselves. So it's good to know that they are keeping things moving along, even if the council can't get it into our budget for another 2 years.
Thank you, Councillor Probst. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Greenberg, did you wish to sum up?
Just to thank Councillor Probst for mentioning that information, in the sense that I'm sure if the work is done in St Arnaud, that any suggestions that are made will certainly be taken into consideration when the council do their feasibility study later on. So I fully endorse this exploration, and yes, like others, I'm excited to see it happen eventually. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? Okay, that's unanimously carried. Thank you. So we've got item 9.2, Housing, Skills and Education, build it up. 9.2.1, Planning Scheme Review and Planning Scheme Amendment, C65 NGRA. So we have quite a big report there, and there's been quite a lot of discussion on this particular report, and we have a recommendation. Just someone like to move that recommendation.
I move that Council A adopts the Northern Grampians Planning Scheme Review 2025, which is an attachment 1. B, in accordance with section 12B(5) of the Planning Environment Act 1987, forward a copy of the adopted Northern Grampians Planning Scheme Review 2025 to the Minister for Planning. C, pursuant to section 16F of the Planning and Environment Act 1987, seek authorisation from the Minister for Planning to prepare a C65 NGRA to the Northern Grampians Planning Scheme to implement the Planning Scheme Review, which is attachment 2. D, upon receipt of authorisation, exhibit amendment C65 NGRA to the Northern Grampians Planning Scheme in accordance with relevant requirements of the Planning and Environment Act 1987. And E, authorises the Director Strategy, Prosperity and Engagement to make minor changes to the amendment documentation prior to exhibition where they do not alter the intent of the amendment.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Probst. Do we have somebody to second that?
I'm happy to second that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. So, Councillor Probst, did you wish to speak to Council on the motion?
A lot of technical words in that motion. Basically what it is every 4 years we have to review the planning scheme, and so this has been in process for quite a while at the moment. Most of the changes in there are administrative changes. It does recommend that our local planning policies, rather than have one local planning policy, that we split it up so each town has its own local planning policy. What it's also doing is the strategic work that's been done in the past for, the framework plans for the different communities. They're all going to be incorporated in the official planning scheme, which comes under the Victorian Government planning rules, so that it means when people apply for planning permits, etc., the strategic work that's been done already with council and community input will all be incorporated. So that will form the basis of how we look at planning permits and the approval process and conditions, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Probst. Councillor Hyde?
No, nothing further to add. Councillor Probst has said it all well.
Okay, any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? No. Councillor Probst, did you wish to sum up? Okay, well, I'll put that to the vote. All in favour? That's unanimously carried. Thank you. So now 9.5, infrastructure, finance and corporate services. Do it well. 9.5.1 is delegation update. And we have a recommendation there.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council agrees to the delegation of powers as set out in the instrument and authorises the Chief Executive Officer to sign the S6 Instrument of Delegation from Council to members of Council staff.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Have somebody second that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Probst. Councillor Greenberg, did you wish to speak to Council on the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. Of course,
sorry.
Delegation is one of the very important instruments of Council. It enables operational matters to take place without every item needing to come to Council, but it's also very important that we're aware of what delegations are in place and the limits of those delegations. Council subscribes to the MADEX Delegation and Authorisation Service, which allows for regular updates to keep abreast of changes in legislation and to ensure the effective allocation and control of decision-making powers. There are some changes which we have closely examined as councillors highlighted for us in red. The changes include some new council powers, which are now part of the legislation. There are some repealed council powers, which of course now have been removed from our delegation. And there are a number of other key amendments. For example, the levy exemption certificates, S96UB, which council is required to keep a record of S96Z, duty not to refer frivolous, vexatious or wholly irrelevant submissions to the planning panel, and that the Minister being able to issue guidelines on material detriment, which Council will be required to consider. So these are just changes to the rules. The other change which has come under these new powers of delegation is that we have updated the position title for the person in charge of the cemetery from Cemetery Trust Secretariat to Coordinator Property Management. So important changes to our delegation schedule, and I would like to move they be adopted by Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Prose, would you like to speak to the motion? No. Okay, any councillor like to speak for or against the motion? Okay, Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to sum up?
No, nothing further to add. Thanks.
All right, we'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? That's unanimously carried. We go to item 10, notice of motion or rescission. There are no notices of motion or rescission. We go to item 11, reports from councillors and committees. So I might start with Councillor Greenberger.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Being the first council meeting for the year, I haven't attended any particular committees that I'd like to report on. However, I must say the break from council commitments has been very much appreciated. I also wanted to express a thank you to the council and to council staff for the lovely pink rose that was presented on to me as a bereavement gift on the passing of my mother-in-law in January. The other thing I just wanted to quickly comment on was Australia Day ceremonies. I wanted to thank the communities of Manu and of Navarre for their community celebrations of Australia Day, initiated by the communities themselves, planned and run by the communities themselves. Sorry, out of practice. I won't start again. So yes, thank you to those communities, and also thank you to those communities for including an invitation to council to attend. I very much enjoyed hearing from a number of local people in Navarre talking about how wonderful it is to grow up in a small town like Navarre, and also what it means to be an Australian. And of course the Manu event is a luncheon beautifully prepared by the CWA, the best food ever. Fantastic. Also just wanted to mention that the Stall Australia Day ceremony has been extremely well received by the community, and pass on my thanks to Kerry and the staff that organised that day. People have commented that it's one of the best that they have been to. A very, very positive atmosphere. I also want to congratulate our award winners across the municipality and make mention that it was probably a far more difficult decision this year than last year. We had a lot of excellent nominations. And there were some very worthy winners. And one piece of feedback that I did get, Mayor, was that people really appreciated to hear the names mentioned of all of the other nominees, even though we can only have one winner. So I would recommend that process remain as part of our ceremonial conduct. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Hyde.
Thank you. As Jenny mentioned, we haven't started our committee commitments of attending meetings as yet, but like Jenny, I also attended the Navarre Australia Day celebrations, and it was fantastic, and I really appreciate the invite, as well as being present at the Stall celebrations. It was a fabulous evening. Just because the year has only just started doesn't mean I haven't been out and about and listening to people. I've certainly been receiving a lot of feedback in the Halls Gap community in regards to quite a few issues of late, in regards to rubbish bins, glass recycling, fuel load, roadside cleanup, invasive weeds, all sorts of things like that. So I have been out there listening, hearing, receiving emails, phone calls, and certainly actioning and working on all those areas so that the community does know. And speaking of rubbish, get your gloves on. 1st of March is Clean Up Australia Day. Now, I remember this day being introduced when I was a child. It started in 1989 and became a national day of clean-up in 1990, the first Sunday of March. And now's your opportunity to get together with your community groups, register your community group with the Shire, and then the Shire will take your clean-up rubbish, roadside litter, for free at our disposal areas. So it is one worth to consider as an event to be involved in, and now's the time to start planning for that. I just wanted to flag it.
Councillor Emerson?
Nothing from me, thanks.
Councillor Probst?
Just mention a couple of things that are important in the Cynarnid community at the moment, like the GP shortage. There's been a couple of meetings with Hospital Council, community health reps, looking at the issue and ways to resolve it. So it's a issue that's going to need a long-term solution. Hopefully there will be some, short-term gap coverage happening, but it's something that is getting worked on. And Teddington is also another issue that's been dragging on way too long. We're still attending meetings between Council, Community, Parks Victoria and DELP. I forgot DECA. So it's a slow process, and Grampians Water, did I say? Hopefully the little steps are moving along and we will see some water back in Teddington shortly, because it's a very bleak place without the water in the upper resi. And then the other thing, just before Christmas, 2 council workers were over in Cynarnid, Rowan from Economic Development, Steve from Tourism, and we spent a couple of hours walking up and down the main street, meeting a couple of businesses, hearing about some good plans that are happening. So watch the space at the Manny. There could be meals there shortly, which is very exciting. But it was also good for the staff, to wander along the main street with the staff, and they were noticing the things about Cynarnid that are very special that maybe us who have been there for a long time forget to notice every so often. So like the architecture and the heritage of our main street. So we chatted about a couple of ideas of how we could focus on that too. So that was really quite exciting to speak to both of them.
Thank you, Councillor Probst. And yeah, it was a very productive meeting. So the meeting with Murray, yourself, myself online, discussing the GP access crisis in Cynarnid. And yeah, we're sort of going to continue in that space and keep an eye on what's happening, because we want our GPs in Cynarnid, and it's very important that we had that coverage in Cynarnid. So it was a really good meeting, and I really just enjoyed the discussions. Also, we have had a Straw Gift Event Management Board meeting. I've had another online meeting with senior planning advisors around planning, which was a very fruitful and successful meeting, and hopefully there'll be more to come out of that. I did go to the pop-up messy playgroup in Cynarnid, and all these things that you can make out of all this food, I was just like, my gosh, it looked like so much fun. We didn't have that stuff when we were young children, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed going over there and chatting to the mums and seeing the kids interact, and they had a lot of fun. They had the best fun, so it was just really pleased to be able to go over there and support them. So I also went to the Great Western Show and Shine over the long weekend, as Northern Grampians Shire were major sponsors this year, and it was one of the biggest attendance that they've had, and very, very impressed with the amount of obviously beautiful classic cars, but there was a really good attendance of people as well, and there was lots of trophies, and lots of people were really happy with the trophies that they received, and some people just go to all these car clubs and keep going until they get trophies, but they all seem to really enjoy it, and yes, it was very, very very wishful. Be very nice to have an old classic car, but yeah, you can go to these events and dream. But yeah, really good day, and to the organisers, they put a lot of work into what they do. So it was good to see so many people support the Great Western Shire and Chime. And as I already said, the Australia Day this year, I think we had record crowds at St Arnaud Stall, and it was great to see so many nominations for both events, and brilliant day, really enjoyed it, and I think those in attendance would have really enjoyed both those events as well as in Navarre and Manu and everything else that was on in our Shire. So we have had a council briefing, and this is our first council briefing and meeting today, and yeah, just been busy with emails, correspondence. There's been a lot of toing and froing, a lot of sort of getting people back on track and catching up. And it's sort of great to be back, isn't it? It is nice to be back. So ready to get back into it and start just getting things done. And yeah. And one thing that that Councillor Greenberg and myself did do, which was earlier in the month, was with Jacinta Emakora. So we went to the Stall Aquatic Centre and just wanting to update her what work we need to do at the Aquatic Centre and what funding we're after, and she was really appreciative of the amount of work we'd gone to. We had displays up, we had all the facts and the figures there, and she was really impressed with the amount of work that we'd gone to, and she will take that back to Labor government for us and have those discussions, and we will follow up in that space. We also went to Central Park netball courts, and we just saw the upgrades there and just spoke about timelines and how it's all going to work and what's going to happen with the court there. And we also went to the official opening of the Stall Gymnastics Club, the facility upgrade, and they were very excited to get the grant from state government and have all the works officially done, and very appreciative of Northern Grampians Shire for helping them get that grant. So that's the end of our reports. So we just have a resolution that the reports be received for recommendation. Does someone to move that?
I'll recommend we receive the reports.
Thank you, Councillor Probes. Thank you, Councillor Emerson. So, all in favour? Show of hands. Okay, that is carried. So we have no urgent business, and we go to item 13, and we have one public question. We have Ross Hudson here. So Ross, would you like to come up and read your questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've got 3 questions today, sort of fitting my limit, and the first is regarding the St Arnaud pool, which is in the process of being redeveloped. It only operates between November and early March most years. This year I think it opened from the 22nd of November. It's a fantastic facility for the community, an important facility for a range of recreational pursuits, family time, and for people to have some respite from the heat. We have had some days so far this year where the pool hasn't operated, whether it be through storm, inclement weather effects where debris has entered the pool, given that it's an outdoor pool. We've also had power outages, which has probably affected the plant room, the filtration process and the like. But given that it's under redevelopment and a considerable, I think it's multi-million-dollar investment being put into the redevelopment, I wondered, as the question asks, what backup power contingency is to be included in the redeveloped St Arnaud swimming pool for it to be operational during power outages.
Okay, thank you, Ross. So Jeevan Pinto is our Acting Director of Infrastructure and Amenity, and he will give you a response.
Thanks for your question, Ross. So there is no backup power contingency included in the current redevelopment scope.
Thank you.
Okay, Thank you.
Question 2, following that up, is if there is none, why is that? And if it was because of cost, what were the calculations to either provide generated power or solar and battery power backup?
So the backup power is not included as the project budget is fully allocated to deliver the key funding outcomes. And providing compliant backup power for pool plant operations would require significant power infrastructure upgrades and ongoing maintenance cost for a seasonal facility.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, connected with this, and I do appreciate your answer, thank you. Question 3, again, I suppose it's tied in with the pool. It's tied in with the fact that Northern Grampians, I think on the 9th of January, was promoting to St Arnaud heat refuges in the town. It referred to the outdoor pool, the St Arnaud Community Resource Centre, the St Arnaud Senior Citizens Centre and the St Arnaud Visitor Information Centre. Obviously the pool is great for an outdoor facility with people that want to access or are up to accessing the water. But I note that the library was closed, noted due to a power outage. So again, I suppose understanding the increasing impact of our climate change and our electricity reliance, my question number 3 relates to what are the existing Northern Grampians Shire Council Municipal Emergency Management Plan provisions or any intended further planning to occur for the establishment of electricity sources and operational facilities in St Arnaud that residents can access in the circumstances of a network power outage?
There are no current or planned NGSC Municipal Emergency Management Plan provisions for establishing electricity sources or operational facilities in St Arnaud during a network power outage.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ross. Okay, there's no further items, there's no further business. I'll now declare the meeting closed at 1:02 p.m.